that is not interested in the sugarcane they produce. They are only bringing the brown sugar from India to process them. What it simply means is that you are going to create jobs for sugarcane farmers in India and deny the Ghanaian farmers the opportunities and the jobs.
And we just saw some of the Ghanaian farmers, and we'll be interacting with one of them in a bit. Some of the Ghanaian farmers lamenting the situation because, like you rightly said, they've taken out loans to expand their businesses in the hope that they would produce, the factory will buy from them, and of course they will turn a bit of a profit. And now that is going up in smoke. Let me ask you, so what is your positioning? 2 questions. Would a future NDC government likely abrogate this contract, knowing the consequences, judgment, debts, and everything in between that could arise? And secondly, I'm taking you back to an earlier point. If people indeed are culpable, as you say, are we going to see them taken on for causing financial loss to the state? 2 questions.
First and foremost, the second question, absolutely. 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 The problems we have in this country is corruption. Look, I have said here on countless times, when the citizens focus on political corruption, it doesn't mean that other sectors of society are not corrupt. There is corruption permeating through the fabrics of every society in this country. But the reason why political corruption ought to be fought is that politicians have the exclusive and the privileged authority to hold those who are engaged in corrupt practices accountable. The president can decide who should be prosecuted and who should not be prosecuted through the Minister of Justice and Attorney General. The president has control over the security agencies, the investigative authorities, maybe perhaps except, what's the name? The Special Office of Special Prosecutor. Even if Office of Special Prosecutor finishes with the investigation, it takes exclusively the right of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, the minister who is appointed by the president, to determine whether they should go ahead and prosecute or not. So when politicians are corrupt, it is worrying. And the problems we have in this country is that some politicians are fantastically corrupt. So whoever is engaged in corrupt act ought to be dealt with. And that is why President Mahama has indicated time without number that, look, he is going to ensure anybody whose actions or inaction occasioned a loss financially to the state will be dealt with, and warned the future appointees under his administration that don't think that my determination to prosecute those who are engaged in corrupt act by the previous administration is going to be, you are going to be insulated. That those who may have appointment in his government, when they engage in corruption, theirs will even be worse. And President Mahama has demonstrated that he had people who were appointed under his administration, national service, who were prosecuted. You had Honorable Abu Gapeli.
You only seem to have the example of Abu Gapeli.
No, why?
And what's her name, who was asked to resign? Victoria Hammer.
No, not only that. I'm saying that the national service, the gentleman was also prosecuted. 3. This government should show 1. 1 of their
I just
kind.
mentioned Abu Gapeli and Victoria Hammer. Who else?
Then the national service boss.
What's his name?
Alaji Moro, who was prosecutor, who was an appointee of President Mohammed's administration and the NDC administration. I have mentioned 3. This government should mention 1. 1, they can't. Instead, the president even declare people without. We have
but have people not been relieved of their positions or resigned? Charles Edubuahin.
I'm saying that
did he not resign?
Please resign. We're talking about prosecuting. When he himself said that everything he did, it was Dr. Baumia. He mentioned Dr. Baumia's name. When you had the former Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, what's the name? Titles, what's the name? Oh, the guy who is contesting to be elected as MP for one of the constituencies.
You are talking of Pius?
That guy is unfit to even go to Parliament. Hajide, Pius. That guy should be prosecuted. That guy should be behind bars.
Why?
This is a guy.
Let's be fair to him. He's not here.
I'm making a statement of fact. This is a gentleman who's minister. He was a deputy minister. The minister wrote to the Flagstaff House that this gentleman is engaged in corrupt act. Now, there is evidence that some citizens of this country were impersonated as journalists to go to Australia. I have been a deputy minister of state before. The letter written to the Australian High Commission was written and signed by Pius. Impersonating people, that is a deception of one state to another. The Australian High Commission represent the Australian government in Ghana. Now, you have a minister who criminally wrote a letter to the Australian High Commission, introducing people as journalists. For all you know, one of them use your name, you wouldn't even know. And those people went there, and in fact, when they went to Australia, they realized that they were impersonating. Who worked on the processes of their visa? It was the deputy minister. And it was the reason why the minister wrote to the Flagstaff House. Now, the president claimed that they set up a committee to investigate the matter. Now, long before even the date the MPP government itself announced for the completion of the so-called investigation, the president went to Volta Region and announced that the guy is clear, he has not done anything. Before even the set date for the completion of the so-called investigation, there was no investigation, there is no any report to that effect. So granted, let me conclude.